Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. Not my fault. Service problems with EV Mux. It's all out. So you're going to miss the intro today. But nonetheless, this intro you won't miss because USA deficit has doubled in the last 10 years. Do you know what that means, inflation fighters? That means exactly what has been happening. As I said 6, 7 years ago, what was going to happen when you increase inflation, when you increase the deficit, when you do tariffs, when you do tariff wars? Did we not tell you this was going to happen? In less than 10 years, it has doubled from the previous number. That is very, very bad. And we got solutions, of course, and welcome to the Stop Struggling Now YouTube podcast channel page, SSN Nation live stream. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. Now, normally we would have the intro that comes down, but we cannot because there was a service problem and everything's out. That's why I've been having the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes trying to get in, but I could not. But I thank you so much for being here. The chat room, well, let's see. Hopefully it's still available and it's open. Hopefully you can hear the sound of my voice. Hopefully you're safe and you have no issues other than the price of yesterday is not going to be the price in the future. Solutions, findhelp.org. That's the first spot you go every time I start the live stream from now on, because there's so many people out here who's living paycheck to paycheck who just lost their jobs this past week. That's right. Tyson, people know they've lost their jobs. We're talking about thousands of people, ladies and gentlemen. Farmers, they're losing their farms. The people that work on their farms, so thousands more. There's no replacement. Zero replacements because there are no jobs. But number one on your list, make sure you keep your health in order, because there's so much going on around here where food is tainted. Salmonella everywhere. Just can't believe it, ladies and gentlemen. Everywhere you go, there's some problem with the food supply, the water supply. You're going to have to start paying attention because your health is your wealth. That's number one on the list. You got to make sure that's where you start. All right, let's see. We got Brian P. Mr. Dividend has arrived. And you might notice I don't even have the background because everything is out. It's like somebody sent through a surge of electricity, so they turned off a whole bunch of stuff in the back office. So once again, Mr. Dividend is here. Thank you so much for being in here in the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Happy day, Eric. I hope all is well with you and your family. Yes, still alive and breathing. Happy day, SSN family. Smash that like button. That's right. Give it a one piece, because you never know. Somebody else might need to see this video. Finally, YouTube is stealing some more of your money. Who didn't see this coming? These guys are not rich enough. They got to make sure that they're going to shortchange the YouTube Partners Program honorees. All of you who do your videos, who get checks, and now you may not get checks, and if you do get checks, they may be reduced. Congratulations. Well, some of us who are shadow banned and everything else who don't get checks, it doesn't matter to us. So we must be doing it for another reason. Trying to help people in this house, ladies and gentlemen. So Mr. Brian P., let's see, he has some more. We are going to make it. You're doggone right, man. We gonna make it, man. We gonna make it. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for sending over the PSAs. I don't have time for the PSAs. I'm working on something that's massive. I don't have the time, quite frankly. It's taking it's research, basically. So when you do a lot of research, unfortunately, that's all it does is take time. Because I can't go down to a library, thank goodness. Because if I went down to a library, the information wouldn't be there. I need information in real time. A book has to be printed. And how long is it delayed? So was this written 6 months ago, 8 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? And the problem with that is nothing. But if I need information up to date right now, then I need the internet, right? Just like the information that we're talking about tonight, no problem. Just like tonight, when the headline is the USA has doubled the deficit in the last 10 years. What happened? One, Trump presidency won. Two, Biden and Trump had the pandemic that shut down everything. Three, we're back to Trump 2.0 with bigger, badder, better tariffs, wars, and the Federal Reserve is printing $10 billion a day. You understand that's more inflation coming. Do you understand you now make less money every single day? Your buying power is reduced every single day. $10 billion a day. Just so you understand. All right? The emphasis. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. You know I'm not going to let you escape. We have solutions. Findhelp.org is one of them. Go there and check it out. But you can see right now, this is it. CNBC. U.S. government surpasses $40 trillion, more than doubling in a decade. 6 years ago, 5 years, 6 years ago, we told you what was going to happen. We told you. That was my Monopoly board. You see what's happening in real time when you had to print some more money because you lost the game. So that meant you added more money to the money supply. So that also meant that prices are going to rise. Whether there's a pandemic or not, whether there's tariff wars or not, tariff wars themselves. If everything was going good, tariff wars themselves cause inflation because you're raising the price artificially. And now people don't have the money to pay for the goods and services, and nor do the businesses, especially when there's reciprocal tariffs from other countries. So now our guys need to send money outside the country, our businesses, and now it costs more money for their citizens. So now their citizens stop buying. So now our corporations go down. See how this works? The reason it works a different way is because in America, let me explain. Most of our products are made outside of the United States. So when they import the goods and services, the prices go up because we have a tariff against those countries. So now United States businesses who import, by default, the customers, who's us, we pay more money artificially. But we don't have more money. Nobody got a 20% raise this year. Nobody's going to get a 20% raise next year. Just so you can even stay afloat, just to stay level. So that's how this works. So when you say, oh, we can go against them, well, the problem is not that. The problem is we don't have manufacturing in America. If we had manufacturing in America like this was, oh, I don't know, 1950, 60, 70, when that was the greatest boom for the middle class, I wonder why. No deficits doubling in 10 years for starters. No tariff wars. You getting clues yet? Taxing the rich had higher corporate tax rates. No tax cuts, tax breaks, unless you hired people. Then you got a tax cut, tax break. Unless you paid them a livable wage. Then you got tax cuts and tax breaks. You had to perform. You didn't just get free money, or, well, wait, taxpayers' money, and be able to just spend it and go buy some more stock so your stock price goes up and just lay off people. No. You actually had to perform as a corporation, so it was a mutual winning society. So now, on the screen, you see what's happening. Treasury reported $432 billion deficit in July. Do you guys also understand we're spending more than $2 trillion a year by the federal Trump government. They spent 2 trillion last year. We don't have money. That's not including the $10 billion a day that the feds are having to, save our economy. Let's just put it in correct terms. Save the meltdown is costing $10 billion a day. And oh my, wait till later on. You got 6, 7 months right now was our deadline. I'm going to keep bragging. A decade ago, the national debt level was 19.4 trillion. It's 40 now. What was a decade? Anybody? Oh my, 2016. 6 out of the 10 years we've had who in charge and the GOP. Clearly, they're not worried about money. Unless, of course, you need your student loans, wiped. Unless, of course, the little kids who go to school needs breakfast and lunch at school, no free lunches. Of course, they don't have money for that either. When you need health care for all United States citizens, they say there's no money for that either. But they can spend $10 billion a day to give their cronies some no bid government contracts for billions of dollars. And they just started their business 2 weeks ago. Taxpayers. This all has to do with the whole shebang because you're giving money away that's not producing anything inside of America. You're giving some friends $5 billion, $10 billion, $200 million, $5 million for a company that did not even exist weeks or a month ago. They're not hiring 100, 200, or 500,000 people. So if you do hire 20 people, great. But you just lost that many jobs, more than that jobs today. In fact, just yesterday, we lost over 1,000 jobs due to Tyson. Just saying. So where's the 1,000 job of replacements going to happen? Not coming, ladies and gentlemen. More money out of your pocket will be, though. All right, let's see. That's the heart of the thing right here. In the most recent monthly accounting of U.S. finances, Treasury reported, I already said, 432 billion deficit in July. That's a shortfall nearing $1.8 trillion. You see the shortfall, 1.8 trillion? Are you getting the picture yet? This regime is going to be spending in the next 4 months more money. They're going to be over $2 trillion again this year. That's $4 trillion in 2 years. That would have stopped homelessness. That would have been health care for all. That would have been Medicare, Medicaid. All of it would have been done for 1 trillion. Now they're 2 trillion spent and we still have none of it. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Just because you like somebody, just because you think you're going to be like, I don't know what you call that, saving America, you're not saving America. All right? You're drowning it in, well, it's over. You're drowning it in debt. No recovery is coming because we don't have any mechanism where ordinary citizens, that's us, the OCs, there's no mechanism where there's going to be 1 million jobs tomorrow. There's no mechanism where there's going to be 1 million livable wage jobs and continue on that path for the next 5 years. That's not going to happen. So, if you're still not interested, let me go further, shall we? Let's go a little further. There's not much more to this because this speaks for itself. Here we go. Interest on the debt, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be a newbie. Don't listen to these people that lie to you. The 1.2 trillion this year and is the largest budget expenditure outside of Social Security and Medicare. The debt is 1.2 trillion. Don't get conflated. Don't be confused. Every paycheck you get, you pay into Social Security and Medicare. So they're not really budgets like the $1.2 trillion. You paid into it with your hard work. The undocumented immigrants paid into it. The legal immigrants paid into Social Security, Medicare. They don't get anything out, though, because they're not citizens. They don't get Social Security or Medicare. You understand? So we blew off $100 billion annually from that. So that's a deficit, actually. $100 billion is what came in from immigrants that's now in concentration camps. So that wiped that off the board. And funny enough, $100 billion times 12 is 1.2 trillion. That's weird, isn't it? I don't think so. Are you getting the picture yet, ladies and gentlemen? How do you destroy your country? You're finding out right now. Okay. I'll reprint. Let me put this in the links down below. You guys can go read this yourself. There's nothing else to talk about. We talked about this before. I talked about it last year. I talked about it the year before. I talked about it 10 years ago. We talked, not 10, 6 years ago. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there was people giving pushback. Oh, this guy's going to do the job. I said, nope, you can't do the job this way. Here's the fallout. Okay, Depatha. I don't know how to pronounce that. Thank you for being in the house. Gerald 21. I see you. And once again, I'm putting in the into the chat room. You guys should see you can get the link to the article. So I'm just going to ask for a friend for people that's going to be homeless. I just want to ask you something. If their farmers are going out of business who give you your food supply, what's coming next? This is very clear to see. I don't really care what side of the aisle you're on. If you can't deal with the reality, then you're going to have a problem, or you make like over $130,000 a year, which, by the way, only 10 to 15% of the 160 million workers make over $125,000 a year. What could go wrong when you have 80% of the 160 million working living paycheck to paycheck? I don't know. 100 million people living paycheck to paycheck, good enough for you, ladies and gentlemen? Hmm? That means 60 million people have to make the economy work? Not going to happen. Roman Empire. I know Brian P's been here for a few years. He heard me talk about this before. I just can't keep saying I told you so, but I'm going to keep saying I told you the effing so. Here we are. People said, oh no, not going to happen. They got all kind of excuses. It was too bad now. There ain't no damn excuses. Your energy bill's higher. Your insurance payments are higher. Your property taxes just on like clockwork are higher. You're not getting saved. All right? You're not getting saved because you don't want to listen to the economics people. The economy people. You know, that black woman that had an economics degree and saying we have to tax the rich and make sure they pay their fair share like it's 1950, 1960s. So then you can reverse everything. Instead, you guys said, oh no, we want to spend $2 trillion, $3 trillion, $4 trillion a year. And we are having a deficit already. Nothing's going to happen. What kind of common sense does that make? It doesn't. That's why education matters, ladies and gentlemen. When you have a sixth grade education, 50% of the population has a sixth grade education. Can you see a problem yet? So when you say we want to defund books, we don't want people to have free college. Do you understand what's happened over the last 40 years when you say, oh no, we're going to monetize college, we're going to monetize higher education, and so therefore people can't really afford to go to college, and even if they do, they're hampered by debt? Do you understand where we're at? It is not going to get reversed. Got 2 more years of this dumb stuff, and the dumb stuff means it's over. Just saying. All right? Just like predicted 3 years ago. Make sure you have a bank account outside the United States. And I don't mean United States territories. I mean in another country. All right? Make sure you have a 775 credit score. And make sure you have unstoppable domain. All right, it's down below in the description box. That's not actually the three things. But for tonight, that's the three things. 775 credit score. Why do I say that? Because right now, if you have a 725, a 750, you should be handling business. You should be getting a credit card at 0% interest for 24 months. That can go a long way to help you. Because at least you won't be paying this 20%, 25, 30, 35% interest rate, making minimum payments. Don't worry, 8 out of 10 of you can't lie to me. I know the numbers. All right? We just now found out last week or Monday, 44% of the people living paycheck to paycheck can't pay their bills on time. So therefore, they're getting charged late fees. So how good does that work? You're already late, but now you pay an additional $30, $40, $50, $60 on top of the money because you had to wait for another check to come. Do you understand how this goes? This is all predictable. All right? It's very simple. So I'm very happy you're here. It's very predictable, as we did predict. What can I keep saying? I mean, we predicted this. That's why we had the 3-year countdown. It started. It ends December 31st, 2026. So don't worry about that. I always gave runways. It's August. But we'll talk next year at about, well, I don't even know if we'll make it till May. But if we make it till May, it'll be a miracle because things could possibly just go very, very bad. All right? It could be very, very bad. Just letting you know. Very, very bad. Mr. Post-retirement travels in the house. Another investor is here. Mr. Worldwide Tour 2 is coming up. He's gonna do it. He's an investor as well. He also has that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate, which means he's a member of the channel. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Because USA has doubled their deficit in 10 years, 19.4 to 40.5. And oh wait, $2 billion a day is being printed up, and we're spending money, and we have a $1.2 trillion deficit just this year, and it's going to be another 100 million this month and next month and the following month. So we're going to reach 2 trillion in 1 year again. Jeez, it's very bad, ladies and gentlemen. And he brings his tagline, hello all, let's do this. That's what we do out here. Make sure you have a pen, pad, and paper ready. I got you the unstoppable domain. Sorry. Why unstoppable domain? Because it's crypto. You get a crypto domain. .crypto, .x, .nft, .bitcoin wallet, a bunch of things. Zillow. I'm sorry, not Zillow. That's not one of them. But the point is, it's crypto. So all you have to do is give somebody things like stopstrugglingnow.crypto, which is what we have, and they can send you crypto to that. Any of the top 450 cryptos. So I don't have to give you my alphanumeric character number. That's the first starter. Second starter, you mint it on the blockchain, Polygon, free. And then if you have a website, you can actually put up a 2, 3, 4, 5-page website. And mint it. It's on the blockchain. That means nobody can take it down. It's not an ISP. It's a blockchain. That means it stays there. That's like freedom. The funny thing, though, over all these years, they don't want to seem to expand the blocks or anything, so you can actually put more things on there. It's almost like I think the government might be controlling it. Because after you can't block it, then that means videos can't come down, right? That means a whole bunch of shenanigans can happen. Just like it happens on YouTube. That means I can use somebody else's stuff, and then it's copywritten, and then it can't come down. That would be very bad, right? So it's understandable that they could do this. But I'm just saying, this is what's going down, ladies and gentlemen. Time for people to get in the stock game. He's right. He is right. And there's several things. Let me make sure I did the unstoppable domains for everybody. No, I did not. It doesn't look like I did. No, I did not. Let me get this handled. We got to get you the unstoppable domains link, don't we? And you can actually do some other things over there, such as uh, get payments. Yeah, I know, bypassing the payment system. Yeah, so sorry, I don't like that one either. You're gonna have to be on your own out here. Just saying, can't be doing the status quo. The Roman Empire is falling faster than anticipated. At least the Roman Empire had no. They understood troops. We can't have you way out there. Come on back. We can't afford for us to keep taking over territory anymore. Come on back. But no, here we are fighting wars unnecessarily, starting wars unnecessarily. Do you understand where this goes? Roman Empire 2, you live in it right now. There's no escape because we have a system where you need a passport. You can leave, but wherever you move to or leave to, they make sure that you can't stay there unless you go within their confines. You got to make sure you do your immigration in other country if you want to stay. So it's going to be very, very interesting what people are going to do around here. All right. That's right. Post retirement. Keep buying stocks. Exactly. Keep backing up the truck. We better work on passive income strategies now before the system blows up in our faces. The national debt is unsustainable. That is absolutely correct. We're at 40 trillion. It's over. It's over. Actually, there is a way that you can reverse this, but they're not reversing it. In other words, the only way you can reverse this is if you decided that people that have 70% of the wealth should pay taxes based on what everybody else pays taxes on. You heard me correctly. 70% of the wealth is owned by the top 10% of the wealthiest. The other 90% own 30% of the wealth. So how is it you're going to try and tax the 70% of the wealth who makes the most money? How are you going to make them pay half of the taxes? So if there's not going to be a correlation where they pay 70% of the taxes based on the wealth, that's common sense, then that means who's going to make up the difference? Nobody. Because we don't make as much money as them as a group. So therefore, putting in an extra $20 billion is not going to cut it when these guys control 70% of $1 trillion. You understand? That's not going to work. So that means there's going to be a deficit. So that means you're going to lose your health care. You're going to lose Medicare. You're going to lose your Social Security. You're going to never have health care for all. You understand? Because you got people out here who believe that there's a trickle down theory or something just because rich guys can go buy yachts and trains and planes and ship themselves off to the space for a few minutes. Keep backing up the truck. We better work on passive income strategies. I'll repeat that again. You have to. The truck backing up is going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Keep buying stocks. You have to. It's one of those things. It's going to go down. Don't worry about it. It's just a matter of when, because people aren't going to invest in the United States. So no investments mean nobody's going to be buying bonds. So they can't print money. So if you can't print money and then you just have to print money anyhow to sustain yourself, that exasperates inflation. Because now even you're not even getting money in. You're printing money out of thin air. At least before you're getting money in and printing money, which still is not by production. But the point is, now you printing money with nobody sending any money in. That now means hyperinflation. Do you get it? and we still have a war going. It's not ending anytime soon. All right, because when you have a certain people who want to save face, they can't say they're going to run tail and leave. Instead, they would rather have sailors sign an NDA that's getting off an aircraft carrier so they won't tell people how bad the conditions is because we live in a third world country and can't take care of our military personnel on a boat and can't fix the stuff that's wrong with the ship. Smoke and mirrors. Can you believe somebody wants them to sign an NDA? This government, this regime wants them to sign an NDA so they don't say what the conditions were on the aircraft carrier. Keep buying stocks. Exactly. Eric, have you completed the transfer for the Larimar contract transfer? No, it's not going to happen. Or is Larimar still trying to jam you up with the 2K? Yeah, they won't add the 2K. So, two people said, because I told them, I said, well, hey, they're like, well, it'll be 2K less to you. I said, nah, I ain't going to be 2K less to me. I said, you can just give me 2K and you know that there's a payment receipt, so maybe they'll give you the two. They said, well, I'm not going to. They said, well, I'm going to have to pay 2K. That means I would, for them, they're looking at it like I gave you 2K and I'm going to pay 2K. So for me, it's 4K. I said, no, it's actually 2K because that's what you're supposed to give me in the first place. But the way they see it is, well, I don't want to pay what they say is not the number because when I got to transfer the title later, they're going to make me pay the 2K. So I was like, yeah, I understand. But that just means you're going to pay an extra 2K or actually an extra 4K. But 135 is still a great price, right? But that's not how they look at it. And I can't blame them, but you know, it is what it is. And all they had to do was do that. But you know, like I told you guys before about the island, it's good to visit the island. It's a whole different ball game when you live there, and it's a whole different ball game when you actually do business there. There's this thing about you trying to get money off the island. That's what I keep telling everybody. That's why I had to not mess with these guys anymore. Because they hem up their own people that work for them, the Dominicans, and they owe them money and they won't pay them. The government does nothing. Then when you have deals with them in contractual forms, they act like they don't. And then when they owe you money, it's like, oh, here's 10%, 20% of what we owe you. Yeah, but you got the money. I know you got the money because you got payday yesterday is the payout day. Oh, well, but you know how when you want to hurt people? Because it ain't no $50 or $100 or $1,000 or $2,000. It's, tens of thousands. You kind of like, you want to hurt people. So the fact of the matter is, this is no shocker to me. This is what they do. When I said, okay, give me a refund 2 years ago, no refund came. Who knew? I already knew that, right? No surprise. There's only one company. What was that? What was it? Ventures, that did Panorama Gardens. They're the only ones 4 years ago that gave back the full down payment. Everybody else, either nothing or a little bit. And now these guys won't even let me sell it either, because that means there's another trigger, of course. That means that they keep my money, don't give it back. So they have it. They still have paper that they used as collateral, but they can actually now take it from me and then sell it to somebody for, let's just say if it is 200 and some thousand. So instead of letting the other person take over payments. You see, so that's the way I look at it. Everything you do over in DR, if you do business, you're not going to get the payment coming back. There's going to be an issue. Just put it that way. All right. You better collect the money if you want to receive all of the money. Because basically you're haggling with people that owe you money. And I don't really like haggling, Eric. So anyhow, that's where we're at, man. Yeah, they're not going to get any love from me, man. I'm about to pull a trigger on them about a few things. So things are about to get ugly. Because I do have a lever that I can pull several levers. If I were you, and I really wanted out, I would bite the bullet with the 2K. That's better than losing your entire deposit so far, unless you rather keep it up until the end. No. I'm not going to bite the bullet. The way I looked at it was the buyer's getting a 2023 deal, 2022 deal, and $2,000 more for them. They should pay it on delivery. But the buyers are all in the same boat. They're like, no, I won't do it. And that's the way I look at it. I look at it reverse of you. I'm like, well, why you're getting it for, you can't even get that for this price. In fact, it should be 20, 30, 40, $50,000 more. So 2 grand, you should just pay me and take it over. But nobody wants to do that either. Go figure. Guess they don't believe the value of 235,000 for the units in the back that they're selling. It's funny. No, it's the principle for me. I told you it's never about money for me. It's about principle. I mean, it's the way I look at it. Just letting you know. That's what it's always about with these assholes. Like I said, I'm about to start talking smack in a little bit. Not tonight, but in a video, I'll be talking smack. Because there is no, let's put it this way, I'm not getting my money back, even if I was. I'm still talking smack. It does not matter. They don't want to do the right thing. They haven't done the right thing for the last 4 years. So if I don't even, all I know is this has to go through a lawsuit or has to go through other means to make them even flinch. So I do have a voice. I could talk badly about them. I could say a bunch of stuff. I have some, let's just call it bullets in the chamber. All right. I just been trying to be like, just get it over. I thought this was a minor thing. Just show it's show the extra 2,000 received, so you can show it to the buyers, and then they can just send me money. You guys send them the form to transfer it into their name. Why even all this stuff after almost a month? Why? Why am I asking? Why am I sending an email a week saying what's going on? No response. Why do I have an attorney having to get involved? Why? Over money that they should have just sent me back 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago now that I realize it's August. 2 years and like 4 months ago. Crazy. Millions of customers are now receiving checks from State Farm after the company announced its largest dividend in history earlier this year. Oh, that's nice. Great. You mean State Farm stockholders? Great. I didn't even know they gave out any dividends. That's cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. USA double the deficit. We are in trouble. Solutions, findhelp.org. And the other solution, hold on, I'm going to put it in the chat rooms for you guys. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat room. Let me see, where's the other one? Oh, the AI. Yes, you need help. Here's the AI. Let's go. LESKO, lovesai.com/business. It's in the chat room. There you go. It's in the chat room. Come on now. Go over there. If you have a business and you want to get things started, you better check that out. Okay. All right. I missed something. Hold on. Good point. The new Larimar buyer will gain instant equity and lots of it. Exactly. According to what they're saying, there's equity. They're going to have over $100,000 equity. So you would think they would be like, here, an extra 2 Gs, cool. And if you believe the prices are 235 or more, the ones in the back that don't even have direct ocean view and city views and Fairlawn view, they're selling those for 235 on the 11th floor. Unit 1107 in Tower 4, they're selling for $235,000. I'm on Tower 2 up front that has unobstructed views, no building in front, on the 11th floor. So clearly, I would say mine's worth more than 235 if that's what they're selling for. So 250, just say, let's say 240. So 100,000 plus equity. Even at 235, it'd be 100,000 plus equity. So either way, but but remember, buyers are going to the DR. They're not doing that. Again, if you're new here, I do have a two-bedroom, two-bath at larimarcity.com. Whatever you see, that's a rendering. The only thing that's out there is the pool area with the nice pool area, the little ramp that you can walk out over the cliff, seating areas right there. That's it. There's no other buildings there. The Amanalu little beachy club they're trying to build, that's not fully built yet, but they do have the bones of it. The covering is done, but other than that, nothing else. So, Coast publisher pleads guilty, accused of spending 1 million at casinos instead of paying taxes. There we go. It's going to continue to happen because that's all that's left. Once there's no money, the the lower tier rich people who, let's just call it, the more money you make, you upgrade. So the bottom end of the richest people, they have to start going, oh my God, I bought this, 1 point something million house. My taxes are 7,000 a year. No, sorry, 10,000 a year, 15,000 a year, and then my electricity is 500, 600 a month. I got car payments, boat payments. Oh my God, let me just siphon off a little bit of money. That's what's going to happen. So guard your bank accounts. I'm just saying. Tamara Larry, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And the health professional in the house. Health is wealth, ladies and gentlemen. She brings her tagline this evening. Hello, all. Hopefully, all's going well with you and the familia and other investors here. Being safe, I hope, because there's so many more viruses and things going on, measles and all this out there that's not necessary. It's coming. So hopefully you're out there being safe. All right. Yeah, so you know what? I might as well just talking smack a little bit. But hold on. We got a few other things that we need to do. We got the Unstoppable Domain. We got the findhelp.org. We got the letsgoloveSai.com /business. We got to talk about what Brian P. was talking about when he said this, even though I do this every live stream. He was talking about trading. Now, trading is high risk. Let's just get real. That's high risk, high rewards. But no time like the present to learn, right? How do you learn? You have to study. You can study online. You can pay somebody else. You can do all those things. Let me see what I can do here. I got to give you the Candlestick Trading Bible, right? At least to get started. And you know what they always say, put something in a book, people won't read it. Unfortunately, that's true. But this is the best I can offer. Besides you paying people to learn, I guess, with courses. But it is what it is. Some people just won't, they can't read or don't want to take it. It's 168 pages. So then you need a demo account. So we always talk about CoinX. Get your demo account. All right? It's that simple. CoinX, outside the United States jurisdiction. All right? There's a reason that I like them. And you have a demo account while you're reading the Candlestick Trading Bible, you'll get familiar with trading and you'll start seeing some trends and you can, start paying attention. So here's the CoinX. And yeah, you can refer people. So there is a referral code. Yes, they give you like $1 or something like that every time somebody trades every other day or something on it. But the point is, that's what there is. That's what it is. So here's CoinX. You don't have to use them. You can use other people. You can go to TradingView, and then they have brokers that's approved, and they have demo accounts on their brokers. same thing. All right, it looks different. They're not going to be on MT4 or maybe a MetaTrader 5. They might be using some other software. But either way, at least that way you can learn how to trade. It's high risk, high rewards, but it takes you months. You can practice on the demo account. Treat it as if it's real, but then you can practice. So if you try some things and you lose, it's no problem. But you use it as a science experiment, as a learning experiment. You're trying to figure out what makes you effective if you want to be in the stock market trading. Or you don't want to be in the stock market trading per se, just look for the wheel strategy. That is the one that Post Retirement Travel uses. All right? You got a couple of options. Okay, hopefully that helps. All right. I usually have the PSAs, so Mr. Dividend is giving the PSAs tonight, which I greatly appreciate. And also, once again, make sure you smash the like button because you never know who needs the information. Findhelp.org, findhelp.org by itself could help people out. Later life estrogen therapy associated with lower risk of developing dementia. What is later life estrogen? That's interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. The reason I say this is because I guess we'll have to do a study. You know, if you have weight on you, your body gives off estrogen naturally. And we have a dementia problem in America, but that's generally because of food, not because of estrogen. In fact, estrogen causes havoc in your body. That's why when women get older, they have these menopause system situations because their body doesn't give off other hormones because as you get older, it stops producing other hormones and the estrogen starts taking over. So menopause starts. That's part of it. Just so you guys understand. So when you start talking about estrogen, I'm like, I don't know. That's crazy. Let's see what happens. Use of hormone therapy, okay, later in life was associated with lower risk of developing dementia. That makes sense. Yeah, if you can get your hormones balanced, which means you're going to need a hormone supplement because your body doesn't give up. Just like guys' testosterone level reduces. So that means your body's going to perform differently in all aspects. So if you could keep your levels up, but it would have to be artificial, then you can eat some things that could help. There's things you can do, but the problem is it's the same with any human, any animal. Your body functions, it reduces efficiency, and that's where the problem comes in. So this is no shocker. Yeah, that's what the wife does. Hormone stuff. Yeah. That's why I know a little bit about it, because when she talks about some stuff, I actually study. I've been studying for 20 some years because we've been together like 20 some years. So I take it, she would say something, I study. So that's why I can talk about a little bit of stuff. But that's the whole point. That's what she does. That's what her products do, save people's lives because they started their natural hormone products when they were in their late 30s, when their body starts having deficits of certain things. And it works for men too. And so therefore, that's why as they get older, this dementia thing, yeah. And dementia does have to do with how you treat your body. That's for sure. The food you eat, the stuff you drink, your environment, air environment, if you have toxic chemicals in your air, all that stuff matters. And just remember what parasites thrive off of. They thrive off of junk. That's what it is. So if you put junk in your body, the odds of something bad happening health-wise as you get older when your body can't fight it, it increases. Same with hormones. If you're not paying attention to what hormones by the foods or whatever you eat, drink, and be merry, if you're not paying attention to your hormones, you're going to have problems. It's just, and it exasperates later because you're getting older. So it's, 60, 70, if you get to 80, if you're lucky enough to get to 90s. Most people, it breaks down. Little walker, little cane. Who knows? Maybe you can't go that far down, go out and enjoy yourself like you used to. Things happen. That's why you got to always stay active for the first part and eat right. Number one. Just saying, all right? I can't keep going on about that. Let's go. The medication being recalled is 25 milligrams, 30 count bottles of Maribegron. Extended release tablets manufactured by Zydos Life Sciences. The recall bottles contain a lot code of E408618 and NDC. Wow. Jesus. The bladder medication, oh my, prescribed to treat overactive bladder symptoms is being recalled due to an out of specification test result, oh my, that confirmed an impurity for the active ingredient Maribegron. Maribegron. I don't know how to pronounce it. Maribegron. Maribegron, I guess. Oh wow, that's bad. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? Let me just leave that up there. This is what we're dealing with right now. This is what you're dealing with. You're going to have to take it upon yourself to get your box, or if you want to be like the old school planners, get the hoe out, start digging, putting in the trenches, putting some seeds down, getting it water running. You better get started. All right? Better get started, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying. And the most important thing, ownership. You better start figuring out what you can own. I'm going to keep talking about this the rest of the year. You better figure out what you can monetize, because you will be renting everything. You rent your house already, whether it's paid off or not. People go, my house is paid off. I'll say it again. You have property taxes and insurance, water, sewer, and garbage, energy bills. They aren't going down. And as you retire, you generally make less money unless you planned in advance and have assets. All right? And now you're going to have to own something. You're going to have to make an effort to, the easiest things, write a book of your life or a story, or make up one, get it published, put it on wherever the platforms are, promote it. At least you own it, you get the check. Don't go through any of these gatekeepers. You say, hey, I'm going to go to a gatekeeper that'll publish it. Yeah, but they're going to keep some of your money. This is the internet. Talk about it. Do your video on demand. Make a story up with your words. Put it on video on demand then. Come on. That's the easiest things I can think of right now. Those you can control. Nobody can stop you. Whether you're successful or not, that's up to you. You're the one that has to put it out there. You're the publisher. You're the one that has to market it. You got to distribute it. Do it. Or you can talk to a distributor and have them give you some sort of deal and siphon off 10, 15, 20% of your money every month. Take your pick. All right? Either way, you better have an asset that you can get rent from, monetize, something. All you musicians out there, make sure you copyright your stuff. Make sure you're signed up with the agencies that if somebody steals it or plays it, that you know that you can stop them from them getting monetized. Don't be lazy out here. All right? Artists and painters and everybody. You guys, you're going to have to turn up to being business people, which traditionally you're not, but you're going to have to be business people. Because renting is everything. Wherever you live, you're renting in America. And actually in most places around the world, you're renting. So, and you're not going to be making more money. We're going to hit a target. Businesses can't pay people any more money to survive because they don't have customers buying as much as they did before. So that's why we're all in trouble. You can see this coming, right? We saw it coming 2 years, 8 months ago. That's why we have the deadline. 775 credit score. Business or bank account outside the United States. Those are the three things. bank account outside the United States, business or real estate outside the United States, 775 credit score. That's the targets. 2 out of 3 is not bad, but get a target range. You have, well, 3.5 months, 4.5 months, whatever it is, because this is, yeah, it's, well, no, 3.5 months is December. So yeah, you got whatever. Better get started. Still have time. I give you like a 5 to 6 month window. So really, next year, June, July, I expect some things to already pop off before that. The way things are going, because we're still at war. That's one of the points that since that hasn't stopped and we're still spending billions of dollars, those billions are that's a deficit number. That's a problem. All right, that's a serious deficit. All right, I'm not going to be on here too much longer. My mind is thinking about some other stuff. Yes, we talked about that on Monday. That's the Jolice, Illinois plant. That's Tyson. That's the one that had to lay off like 1,000 people, I believe. There's 2 Tyson facilities. There's another one that laid off 400 people. That's 1,400, I believe, that was laid off. They were all at work. I, yeah, can you imagine getting livable wage jobs and somebody walks in and says, "Hey, you guys, we're not doing this no more." Oh, that's a real shocker. Remember, people, 80% of people are broke. So all the corporations, they have less consumers buying their goods and services. They can only raise the price so high. But the problem is they can't really lower the price that much. Otherwise, they're giving it away. So therefore, they can only lower it so much, and you still aren't in range for people to buy more. You have less consumers being able to buy at these prices. So what can you do? You can only raise prices, and then, but the problem is, just think about it. You raise prices, then that means even less people buy. Then you raise again, even less people buy. It just keeps dropping. This is economics. This is capitalism. This is not going to change anything. You can't just manufacture a change because you stand on TV, hit a podium, and be like, this is whatever lie you want to spew. That's not how this works. Sooner or later, the devil comes home. Devil shows up after you knock on the door. He comes home. He says, "Oh, you messed up. I love it. And you're getting into the irreversible territory. I'll just go back home and chill. You guys are doing my work for me." Sad. All right. It's going to keep going, ladies and gentlemen. This is no surprise. According to FDA, Kettle Cuisine recalling 14-ounce market side tomato bisque soup kit because it has a potential to be contaminated with Listeria monocytogenes. Jeez. I don't know how to pronounce that either. But nonetheless, Listeria is bad enough for me. All right? Good enough for me, ladies and gentlemen. So again, did we not tell you what was going to happen before? We said this 5, 6 years ago. When you take away USDA personnel, people that's supposed to go check things out, what could happen? What could go wrong? They took some more people away under this Trump regime as well again. What's going to happen? What's going to go wrong? This is exactly what was going to happen and go wrong. We already knew this. Good luck, Americans. It's so sickening that to watch this after 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago saying exactly what's going to happen and it happens. That's why I'm upset, disgusted by this. Brand, product description, packet size, UPC, Best By date, quantity recalled, market side, tomato bisque soup, kit, 14 ounces. All right, here's the states. Thank you so much for this, Brian P. Oh my goodness. This is like 20 states. This is bad. Walmart stores, select Walmart stores, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, New Jersey, New Mexico, Nevada, New York, Ohio, Oklahoma. Doggone it, man. That is wild. That's the market side tomato bisque soup kit, 14 ounce. Do not take that. And you're going to be at the hospital. You don't want to be at the hospital. There's lots of people at the hospital. Sick people are at the hospital. You don't want to be at the hospital. All right. Okay, so I've left long enough with the Larimar thing. Okay, let's start with Larimar. I guess it's time I start saying a few things. Number one, I've already spoken about. Um, you have a company that's on the Spanish Stock Exchange. They're on something called the BME. It's like a growth side of a stock exchange. So traditionally, when you're on a stock exchange, you need more money. You either sell your shares, which that means you can get diluted, or you can also set up another class of shares with no voting rights and go that route. But I don't know their stock exchange, so maybe they can't. But they're on a certain stock exchange in Spain that is pretty technical. They're like, you have to meet these parameters. So now they run out of money, let's say. Oh, well, obviously, don't have enough money. So where do? They go down to Panama. And when they go down to Panama, they do bonds. They're offering bonds in Panama. We don't know how much the interest is. It's probably high because it's Panama. So we'd have to say 8%, maybe 9% could be, 10%, I don't know. But I know it's not 3% or 4 or 5. Let's just put it that way. I'm pretty sure it's not any of that. It has to be higher than 5 or 6%. They're trying to get millions of dollars through their bond sales. That is not a good sign if you're trying to build this Larimar City. That indicates to me that you don't have money because you can't sell something really well when people that you're late and they can go see what it looks like right now. And people have known about you for 4 years or 3 years. And they go look now and like, hey, I thought you said this was going to be done in 2025 or the first phase anyhow. And they go, well, you're not even finished with any towers yet. So that's where we're at. So the other side to this is you have to ask yourself, why couldn't they go to the Spanish stock exchange? Because under their BME charter, they can't do this in Spain. And if they did, Spain stock exchange would start doing some regulatory works. This is all my opinion, of course. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen if they would have tried it over there. Now, if Spain finds out about it, which they could and should maybe, then maybe still repercussions for them being on the stock exchange. And also, I don't know what it is with these descendants of the EU. They just like to spend money, other people's money. Just so everybody understands, they lost $917,000, which is almost $1 million last year on their stock reports. Yes, negative nearly $1 million as a company. Just so you understand. So, that's one of their little triggers. And anybody watching this right now also, you have insurance apparently on your money that you sent to Larimar City. You know you can contact the insurance company because they're in default to get your money back. Just saying. Check box. Just saying. So this is where this leads to. I tried to be kind of cool and calm, but I was like, hey, I had to I sent a message to the attorney and I said, hey, man, I'm going to get my money back anyhow. I'm not really worried. I was just trying to give somebody a deal so they could take over payments and, do your thing. So I said, activate. I said, we're going to have to activate this then, and I'll just won't give a damn at that point. And then I'll be talking smack too. So, not do the right thing? So be it. We have a playbook. That'll be the first playbook. There's another one, far dire than this, because the insurance company would have to pay this. So, it'll be far dire the next position that I pull. I'll probably do it in 7 to 10 days. Either way, I don't really like these guys no more. That's all it is. I don't like these guys no more. I helped them, screwing over people that I helped. So, it is what it is. People will make money, I hope. If they finish it, I hope. We'll see. But anyhow, let's go. I'm going to get out of here. It's 1 hour and 6 minutes. I didn't want to talk too long. I'm in the lab right now. I have something cooking that's even, I was talking so much smack the last 2, 3 months about a project that I was working on. I went left. The project I have had to put on hold. Can't happen. But since I went left, I've been studying some other things. And this other thing, all I can say is I want to do it so bad, but I can't. But I'm studying this information that I'm finding out. And I'm using AI, of course. And I'm using free AI, so some of that information may not be totally accurate. And again, I don't trust AI because their information is not really accurate 100% or 99% of the time. You can find errors if you know the information. And so since I know the information, I also go down the line and I double check, triple check, and then some things come up and I'm sitting here telling them, no, I don't know where you're getting this info. This is not correct. Let me explain. Here's the info. This is where you go get the info. Then they come back, good catch. Yeah, I know, still, good catch. But these are the free versions. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't know what the paid versions do, but I use free versions. So, anyhow, the reason I use free versions is just because it's the same thing. If you ever do business, just because AI told me something, I still have to deal in the real world. I still have to see an attorney, and the attorney's the one that's going to tell me what that's like in the real world. You know what I'm saying? So, or accountant, what that's like in the real world. You just can't believe what AI says. All right? So, just remember that is the main thing. And you'll stay out of trouble. And make sure you get your ownership papers. Make sure you can do anything that I drop down below. Candlestick Trading Bible. You want to learn trading, then start learning. Don't throw money in thinking that you know it all. The markets are fickle. You got to understand what you're looking at, and you have to understand your exit strategy if you're going to do stock market trading. If you're going to do the wheel strategy, that's a little more less, a lower tolerance level as far as your risk level. So you might want to do that, but you can actually Google anywhere on YouTube and you can find wheel strategy. In fact, I did the other day, but I don't have time for that right now because I just found something that, like I told you guys before, I look for things that I always wanted to do. And so I start studying it right now. I just never was like really wanting to do it because I didn't have the time. Because when I do something, I'm doing it for a reason. And there's only one reason I like really doing it when it comes to businesses, LLCs, and things like that. One is either to help people, or the second is to kick the federal government, the state government, and all of their gatekeepers' ass. And now that I have the time, I've been studying. And I've been studying out my depth, which is awesome, on a journey. But this thing, I ran into something that there is something sitting on the side. I was like, this can't be happening right now. Let me go down this path. Let me go look at this. Oh, they messed up again. I keep telling you, the rich people, they're so rich that they're above the fray. And because they're doing so much harm and damage and having fun, they're not watching the gates. They're slipping. They always do. I told you guys this. You can always kick their ass. It's just that they have levers that can block you once they do it, meaning the court system. They'll sue you out of thin air for nothing. They'll put up hit pieces on you and on articles and things like this, lying about you. And now it's even easier to create AI videos and lie about you. They can do all kind of damage. They can get their friends at the federal government to change laws. They can bribe them. They can go down to the federal government, their DOJ officials, and bribe them and tell them, put a case against these people. You should just go down and investigate them. Kind of like what Marco Rubio's doing. When, what's that guy, El Sayed, wherever he's from, he won. And Marco Rubio's like, I think I'm going to go check his immigration, even though he's born in America. What do you mean you're going to check his immigration? Like, what the fuck is... This is all I'm saying. When you have corrupt individuals, he ain't the only one. This is what they do if you're a target. See, this man wins an election in a primary. He could possibly be in Congress or the House or wherever. And so now, a person born in America, they're going to do an immigration check? Why? Because since you can export American citizens now, because some people don't care about the Constitution and all that, they're going to do it to try to stop him from winning his election later on this year in about 2 months. Is that wild? Did I not tell you guys you don't know what country you live in? So anyhow, when you kick their ass, this is what happens. They call up their buddies in government. They call up their DOJ. They call up their lawmakers. They bribe them. They bribe all of them. You don't know what country you live in. And then they start looking at how they can check out your bank accounts and maybe take money and block it. That's why I don't leave my money in a U.S. bank. You understand? You don't know what country you live in. So this is exactly the problem. You have gatekeepers everywhere. And the problem is the rich that control 70% of the wealth in America, they're able to buy the politicians. They're able to buy every facet, every branch of our government. Police officers are up for sale too. All of that. So if you're going to take on kicking their ass, you better make damn sure that whatever you're doing, it's bulletproof. That's all I can say. You better put it down. You better make structures just like theirs. What I'm referring to is Amazon, Netflix, Nvidia, the Fortune 500 companies, Warren Buffett. You better make your structures like theirs. You own nothing. So they can't take away from you. They can't block you. They can't stop you. So now I'm doing something monumental because I'm going to be able to pull this off on something else that I wasn't even thinking about. I always wanted to get into it, but I never did. 2 things I had done that I didn't get into is because of the way their systems are. And I didn't want to spend the time, but now I've been spending the time to look into these 2 systems that I always wanted to bust their ass. 3 actually. Now I'm on my 3rd one now. The first 2, I already can bust their ass. I already figured it out. The last one, there's way too many gatekeepers in the system. So again, remember, if you have a business, you got to be able to control your supply chain, right? That's the key. When you say I want to start a business, your next question has to be, how can I get this out to the masses? And if you can't give an answer, then you are not going to win. You can't just go, oh, I'll just do it online. You better have a few options how you're going to get this product or service out to the masses. And you better not have to rely on another supply chain to make it happen. And what do I mean by supply chain is the simple things like right now, I'll just use an example. If the post office went away, how would mail go to people's individual addresses? There's not a second place that would do this. Sure, one might spring up some sort of postal hop, but in the meantime, you're not going to be able to mail. That's what I'm referring to. Your supply chain is going to be, if somebody can interrupt your supply chain, then that means they can stop you. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm paranoid because they've done it to me before, so I look at things from a different lens. Don't listen to what I'm really saying about they can stop you. If you're trying to do something, you need to try and do it. But I just want you to be eyes wide open so you understand that if you are wildly successful, there are people that are trying to stop you. You may not think so because you have brought the propaganda that it's capitalist system in America, but you don't understand. When you take the food off of their plates and they have a lot of money, they don't mind spending money to elect people. I'll give you another example. You have maggots and GOP candidates who swear that they're not going to do health care for all. They're not going to tax the rich. They're going to stop allowing data centers being able to get subsidies from energy and take up all the water in towns. Then you have another guy who says health care for all, fund Medicare, fund Medicaid, stop the data centers, stop the war. The weird thing happens. Tax the rich. Weird things happen. The rich would rather spend 100, 200, 300 million dollars on elections so that they can do the platform that makes sure that they're not going to have any problems and get tax cuts and tax breaks, versus against the person that's willing to give the people what they need. The health care for all. Tax the rich like it's 1960 tax rates. I'll go for that. So why are they willing to spend two, three, four, $500 million on candidates that wants to put the foot on the people's neck? No health care, no Medicare, tax cut, tax breaks, subsidies, data centers, that they're going to get the water for free or small prices. They're voting for the people to destroy on the side of destroy. Solar, wind power, hydrogen power. No, they're voting for the guys that want to stop it. They're not putting their money behind the people that want to do it to increase our energy supply. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars for the guys that are trying to be against American citizens. The communists. This is crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, it's over. But before it's over, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Not having health care for all means that businesses can't survive because it's going to be a situation as well. It's already started. It's already too late for all of this. But the problem with it is if you don't have health care for all would have already solidified a situation. The mom and pop businesses wouldn't have had to worry about employees leaving because they didn't have health care. So that would have stopped. So now people could have paid higher wages because they wouldn't have had to pay health care or any sort of health care or any other insurance has to rise. All of the insurance would have lowered. Health care would have been eliminated. You would have been able to hire more people because then you could have said, I can pay you the extra money because I'm saving X amount of money with my insurances or if they're covered any of the health care at all. So that was one of the things, right? That would have been a simple fix. That would have made businesses thrive and businesses would have paid a little bit more money because they would have freed up some cash. So you have to start thinking about other things like child care. So if somebody came in and says, hey, we're going to give you child care, X amount of credits, or give you some sort of relief for child care. Once again, who does that help? Mom and pop businesses. Because now those people who couldn't take a lesser wage job is because healthcare costs $500, $1,000 a week, depending on how many children you have. So see those type of things, but the guys that have money are betting on the other guys who don't want that stuff to happen, and they're wasting enough money that could have been health care for all. That could have kids, starving kids, have free lunches at school and breakfast. The $500 million they're spending on these primaries. You know how far that could have went? They'd rather give it to the politicians than to pay taxes. That system is broken. Hey, plebeians, go look up plebeians. This is regarded with the Roman Empire. Plebeians, good luck. USA has doubled the deficit, and if this person or this regime stays in here another 4 years, it will double again. Just saying, 4 years. Notice I said 4 years, because you don't really think the guy's leaving, do you? Because him and his cronies would be going to jail. Let's just face facts. All right, let's go. Eric, since you aren't banking with US Bank, where do you keep your money? Can't tell you. Crypto wallet? That too. I believe you said you still have a Navy account, correct? Yes. That's right. That's exactly right. And then all the rest outside the United States. Crypto account, yes. Crypto accounts are outside the United States as well because we use Bankers and some other things. Well, I have my own wallet too, so that's not Coinbase or whatever other one out there. I don't even use these guys. All right? They're nothing more than loading platform since we're regulated in the United States. But exit platform, a whole different story. Hey, Eric, have you heard of the iShield key? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. You're going to need more than that. It depends on who's looking for what. You guys know, again, I'm going to end this right now. You guys know all your phones? Your phones are basically virusware. I call it virusware because anytime somebody can, they're letting you use the phone, and then when they connect to other phones, like if you're connecting to another phone via Wi-Fi or you're on the systems, whatever, they have web crawlers and spiders and all these things searching your information. Just like Google and Apple, they're gatekeepers. They're helping the government. They're helping other people. So they're giving up the information that they have spyware on your phones. This is why they're adamant about other phone companies like Chinese phone companies and others from being able to be sold in the United States. Because of course they're going to have the same thing. Which now means every time you download an app, those little spiders and crawlers, guess what? They go through the app. You're carrying the virus. All right? Think about it. So all this stuff about people trying to worry about their information, this, that, and the other, you're freely giving it up every day. They're swiping it off your stuff. Your phones already have a virus. And that's called the United States government. And their friends. Who's their friends? It ain't you. 8 out of 10 people, hang on. I don't know what to tell you, but you better figure out how to make extra streams of revenue because the cost of living is going to rise the rest of this year. Everything's going to cost more. Nothing's coming down. All right, just saying. We're going to wrap this up. I can't even, I'm having a hard time right now. I can't keep talking about this. All right, it's a downer because I predicted what was going to happen already 2 years, 8 months ago. 2027, December 31st, you have a short time frame. You're going to have to own something that I talked about earlier. This is why I'm studying right now. Because when mayhem occurs, I won't be able to study any further, and I need everything in place before mayhem occurs. All right? Mayhem is in 2027. But the point is this: you're going to need ownership of something. Because if you have no skill sets and you have no way to create anything, you don't feel comfortable, then you're not going to be able to make any money. Because you're going to have to rent to somebody. You're going to, you don't have a phone company, right? You don't have a social media network. You don't have it where ads are rolling across the screen where you're making money based on people watching something. That's not even a job. That's just software. So that's why these companies, these tech companies, can make gazillion dollars. All they have to do is add more ads or do what YouTube's doing. You stop giving people more money, the influencers, the people that upload videos. You start reducing the amount of money people receive, so that now free ups more profit. So that's what they're doing right now. That's Google. They're not making enough money. They have to start shortchanging people on YouTube platform. Crazy. You see how this is going? It's going to get worse. So I lost my train of thought because of that. Because again, I start getting sad when I start talking about this. Because you guys are out here not realizing the double up from the feds, this deficit creates inflation like we used to talk about. And I said, wait, you'll see. And that's how this 3-year thing came all about. I said, 3 years from now, it's not going to, because 3-4 years ago, we had a double-edged sword. We had inflation, we had a pandemic, and we had tax cut, tax breaks 1.0, all at the same time. All of those are inflationary. And people said, look, the economy's great. Look. Okay, fine. Because the economy is not stock market. Okay, just keep that in mind. Stock market can be great. The economy can be bad because it doesn't run on that. The stock market is corporations. That's not Main Street. So it can go up even though the economy is bad, which is what was happening. Just like right now, the last year and a half. 3.4, 3.7% inflation. The feds, under any other normal circumstance, would have already raised rates. Already. They haven't. They've let inflation keep rising. It goes through your whole system. Our whole economic system on the planet, it goes through the longer you keep letting it go. So it comes out in the wash, and as you go a year over year, it's going to keep rising because you're not doing anything to reduce supply. So you keep printing out every day. This is the outcome. So all this stuff we're doing right now, and last year is 2 years in a row, right? 2 million or 2 trillion spend by the Trump regime. 2 million deficit. 2 trillion deficit. That's 4 trillion. And we don't have money to print. We're printing it. 4 trillion in the money supply. That creates inflation by itself. You don't need anything else to happen. Even if you had zero inflation, putting in $4 trillion of money in the money supply creates inflation. You guys have to understand this. And that's why what's happening is happening, because this has already started down the path 7 years ago. And there has been no correction. There's been no correction since 2008 or 9. Remember, 2008 and 9 was a bailout. There's not been a correction. There's been the bumps because the pandemic was a mini correction, which was sorely needed. But there should have been a real correction. And I have a feeling that real correction, we're going to see it in the next 12 months. 12 to 15 months. That's why you need your ownership that I've been talking about. You better be able to figure out something that you can rent to people people want. The scenes that are pretty simple, but unfortunately not that many people can make it happen, is if you were able to have a platform, then you would be able to have the ads rolling from these trillion-dollar companies. Because the ads that roll generally aren't from mom and pop businesses, although they'll take your money. But when there's less mom and pop businesses, there's going to be less revenue from those mom and pop businesses, but they're still going to get the revenue and the ad payments from the corporations. All right, let's go. Eric, I sent an international wire from my Navy Federal to the Dominican Republic USD account with band reservists, and it went through in less than 12 hours. Exactly. That's what I was telling people. The whole thing cost me $32. There you go. Actually, it's better than that. If you sent your money from, well, oh, that's band reservists. If you sent your money from band reservists, guess what? It'll come same day. I know. People don't realize it. Yeah, exactly. Band reservists actually is a different. If you had Scotiabank or Banco de la Horo Lopez, your money would come same day. Just saying. That's why if you have a business outside of the country, you should have one. Just saying. But yeah, this is what's happening. No surprise. Yeah, it comes and goes real fast now. Although band reservice is a little on the slow take, but nonetheless, same day is good. And it only, how did it cost you 32 though? It should have been. Oh, you did it at the branch. I'm trying to think. It's 35, I think. 35 if you do it. So was it like 25? Yeah, I don't know how it's 32. That's a weird number. 35 is if you did, unless they changed the parade or something. That's weird. But that's cool, man. That's great to hear. Yeah, they're with the United States now. Yeah, they're with the United States. Sadly, the descendants of the EU joined the rest of them. They used to be one of the six countries that did not have affiliations where the United States could come and steal United States citizens' money. Although they still might be because they never officially signed up. So they're kind of on the fringe. But in order to get United States money, customers' money, they decided to open up bank accounts in the United States is one of the options they do. And then the second one, they shored up their banking for the wires. Because it used to, when we did this in 2022, it'd be like one day, 2 days later, and they'd be like, no, we haven't gotten it yet. It was crazy. But now, yeah, everything's much faster ever since 2024. So, no problems. Bank wires are basically one day with going up and back. Hours. That's it. Gotta love it. The problem is, like I said, they don't like letting the money come off the island if you do business over there. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. 1 hour, 34 minutes. Hopefully you guys, I went on my little diatribe. Smash the like button. Let others know. We'll be here on Friday at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hopefully whatever service outage went down with EV Mux. So it must have happened already 2 days ago, because 2 days ago, everything looked like it looked now. Except today it popped up and said we had some sort of interruption with our service. So that's why our stuff is out. So I was like looking through here like, what the heck is still out? So I thought it was something wrong with my computer memories or something, but now I realize it's their system. So hopefully they have it all good and everything's great, but we're getting attacked. Just keep that in mind as well. Cyber attacks are real. And so I'm going to be out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys being here. I love you very much. Thank you for your support over all these years. Just try to be safe out here. A lot of people are going to have more stress than they've ever had in their lives, because this is something that the United States I don't believe are going to be able to come out of when this next iteration of the Great Recession or Great Depression happens, because the money and the jobs and the businesses are in the hand of a few. That's the problem. And things cost so much, and there's less social services of help. They've been canceled, cut off, and now you're going to have a bunch of people with nowhere to go, no shelters, nothing to do. So, oh, yeah, 25. Cool. Oh, they're charging. Okay, I was wondering how you did 32. All right. So Navy was, I thought it was 35. Maybe it is 25. I don't remember. But anyhow, yeah, so good. I only sent 500. Oh, well, still. No, that's still good. That's still good because if it should go in one day. Like I said, my banks over there go in one day, both of them. So no issues. And I was shocked at one time. And it came back. I sent money back. And so it was in the morning. And then I got a pop up saying money deposit in my account. And I was like, what the heck? This can't be. It was like 4 hours later. I was like, oh, I didn't. And that's like 2 years ago, like I said. So they've been on it ever since about 2 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, when I wired both ways, it wasn't like that. So they must have hooked into, they must allow DR to hook into the wires, what do you call that system? They must have let them hook into the system. So anyhow, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now you know where to go. Oh, Navy Federal, you have to have somebody. You got to know somebody in the military, family members in the military, you in the military or something, veteran, reserves. Get Navy Federal. Just saying. You can sign up online, by the way. And funny thing, they probably have a referral link to it, but not tonight. All right? Maybe we'll talk about it another day. But nonetheless, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you guys understood the message. Make sure you're the only ones that can protect you and your family, and you're going to have to be the ones that come up with some grand plans. Because if you lose your job, and there's not that many people that have a job, 160 million out of 350 million have a job on the books. So you already have half the country in peril. Now all we need is another third of them, of the remaining amount, because when this goes down to 120, it's a wrap. When you only have like 1/3 of your population working, and the top 10% of those have the bulk of the wealth, that means they have control. And they're going to charge you. And they don't really care if you live on the streets or live in the Walmart parking lot. Just saying. All right? So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. I can't go any faster, unfortunately, for what I'm doing, because I actually, if I was able to do what I want to do after this newfound thing, I'm still going to be studying some other stuff since I don't have nothing to do. But if I'm able to, this wasn't even going to be on the radar, but now that it is, if I was able to turn around and do what I was going to do, I'd be able to bring you guys along for the ride in some capacity, because it's that powerful. And it's pretty awesome. So we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, I'm just studying right now. I call it a retreat. I'm on a retreat right now. I'm on a survival retreat. I'm sitting here studying some things. I wish I could tell you what it is, but all that would do is mess up things, because the gatekeepers are watching. All right? They're watching. So I don't even want to say anything at all. So the only way I'm going to do it is once I have the structure in place. I can't even have the structure in place for another 6 months. Then we can talk. So stay tuned. I got something that'll be like, all right? And we got help. SSN Nation members helping, which is awesome too. It's a twofer. I get to kick their ass with an SSN Nation member. That's a twofer, right? And then I get to bring you guys along. That's a 3-for. 3 for 1, and we kicking their ass too. That's what I love. That's what I love. And we're all making money too. That's what I love. Yeah, this is a money-making venture on purpose, just so you guys understand. All right? So anyhow, I'm going to end this live stream. And I can't do an outro, come to think of it. So I'll just make this nice and sweet. Hold on, maybe they fixed something. Let me go check real quick. Let me see. Nope. Can't do an outro. Wow. Okay. That's how it goes. Okay. Just make sure no matter what you do out here, be positive and be ready. And always keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.